Hey YouTube, Omar here, and this is my second video of the day of my return, and this video is going to be my MLB playoff predictions. Obviously, it's not the beginning of the season, don't get this wrong. Today is September 18th, and on average, it seems every team has just about 15 games left in the season, and this is what I think the playoff picture is going to be when it's all said and done. Now, if the season ended today, the 8 teams that would be in the playoffs are the 8 teams that I predict to be in the playoffs in my predictions. However, there is a little reshifting in the AL. So let's start off with the AL East. My division winner, the Baltimore Orioles. This is why. I had a very tough time with this because, of course, I hate the Yankees, and how can you not root for the Orioles to win the division, and, all this kind of stuff. They haven't been in the playoffs in a long time, but this is really why I picked it. There's no games between between the Orioles and the Yankees for the rest of the season, and the Baltimore Orioles have a very, very valuable tiebreaker, which is the head-to-head record. They've beaten the Yankees more times than the Yankees beat them this season, and I think that's really valuable because I've been following the AL East, race for the past 10 or so games, and just the amount of times in the past 2 weeks that the division has been tied really shows how valuable it is to have that tiebreaker, because it shows that, maybe the 2 teams finish with the same record. Right now, the Yankees lead the division by a half a game, and every single game counts. I mean, it is very exciting. If I was Buck Showalter or Joe Girardi, I would just say, guys, obviously you're gonna go home. The players, they're gonna look at the standings. They're not gonna be. I mean, they're not gonna. Don't think they're just like these strange humans that don't look at the standings. They obviously know the standings. But really, I think they have to just take it one game at a time and just try to win a game, because every game counts and a win is big. In the AL Central, so I have the Baltimore winning the division, and I have the Yankees finishing tied in the division with the Baltimore Orioles, but of course they lose a tiebreaker, and wild card spot number 2 for the Yankees. Now, in the AL Central, I only have one team. That'd be the White Sox. Right now, they have a 3-game lead on Detroit. They just beat them a couple nights ago. They don't play anymore this season, and I don't see Detroit closing the gap. In the AL West, I have Texas, pretty solid. Doesn't look like Oakland's going to close the gap on them. And I have Oakland as my wild card number 1 and the home team for the wild card 1-game playoff. And that is only because they seem to have an easier schedule remaining than the Yankees. Of course, I would love it to be the other way, because I think it'd be way more exciting to watch the 1-game playoff played at Yankee Stadium than the O.co Coliseum. I mean, that doesn't sound exciting at all, but, 1-game playoffs is going to be exciting regardless. But they might not get fans. That's the thing. I kind of want to be on Yankee Stadium. Anyway, in the NL now, we move to the NL, and my NL East champions and the number 1 team in the NL, the Washington Nationals. I think they've got it locked up. The Braves are an awesome team, but they're not catching them. By the way, in the AL, I would say Texas finishes with the top record, followed by, well, I don't know. Let me see actually for a second. While I'm looking up the current standings, second in the NL for me is the Cincinnati Reds, and they be winning the NL Central, and they are trailed by 11 games, I think it is. Yeah, 11 by St. Louis. It's over. Third team, San Francisco. They are trailed by 8 games by the Dodgers. They're going to win the division. That's pretty much all that needs to be said. Okay, so the White Sox, this is for the AL rankings in terms of like the seedings and the playoff picture. So my matchups would be Texas Rangers taking on the winner of the Oakland A's and the Yankees. I picked the Yankees. Whatever. We will get to that later in my MLB first round playoff picks. But yeah, so I got the Rangers #1 playing the winner of Oakland and the Yankees, the two wild card teams, and of course 2 and 3. I'll have 2 Baltimore taking on 3 Chicago. So we move on. Number four in the National League, I give that to Atlanta. They're gonna win the wild card, and they're gonna win the wild card #1. They have a big lead on that. And number 5 was actually the hardest choice I had to make, even harder than the Yankees and Baltimore choice, and it was between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Los Angeles Dodgers for the last spot in the playoffs. And basically, this is what it came down to. The Dodgers are 1 game behind right now. That's not what it came down to. But the Dodgers are 1 game behind right now. And this is going to be probably the second most exciting part of the race. Maybe even the most exciting, because the reason why I put St. Louis and the Dodgers as the most exciting race, the race for the last National League wildcard spot, is because in the Baltimore Yankee race, basically the loser is going to be the wild card team. So even though wild card's only a 1 game playoff this year, the team's still making the playoffs. The loser of the race for the last wild card spot is not in the playoffs. So that's why I picked this as the most exciting race. And well, let's just say. So St. Louis, they have a terrible next 9 games. I mean, terrible in terms of who they're playing. I believe they play the Astros and then like I don't remember, but all I know is they were terrible teams upcoming. And and then the last 6 games of the year, they play the Nationals for 3 and the Reds for 3. So, you start with some terrible teams, and then you move right along into Murderer's Row to start the last 6 games. But yeah, let me see here who they're taking on this week. Yeah, they're taking on the Houston Astros at home this week. So then you got the Dodgers. They're basically the opposite. Their next 6 games, the Nationals for 3 and the Reds for 3. Then they have the bad stretch. I mean, they have the stretch of 6 bad teams, bad games, or games against bad teams. And then they have 3 against the Giants to finish the year. Basically, what my decision came down to here, and let's just skip to the point. They both have good teams and bad teams that they're playing for the remainder of the season, but this is what I'm going to say. I expect the Dodgers, when they're playing these Nationals and Reds for the next 6 games, to fall behind from 1 to maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 games, while the Cardinals are playing terrible teams. And that, basically, I'm saying it's going to be a mental thing. The Dodgers are going to feel out of it. They're not going to feel as good. They're going to be feeling way behind, and I think that's going to give the St. Louis Cardinals the chance to get the second wild card spot. Anyway, that is my MLB playoff predictions video coming down the stretch, 15 games away, and I will see you guys later as soon as this video uploads, probably for an NFL video. See you guys later.